Hi, I'm Wong Hai Shing, and welcome to my presentation for the Application Design to Self-Evaluation and Reflection. Moving on to the first one. Right, from Application Design 1, I have decided to change my topic, which is from the ride-hailing app towards an event app, because I would like to personally try new things, and instead of just redesigning my old design and refining it, I would like to try on new things and explore on different types of apps that is available. Right? And besides that, I've also made some app analysis, which I have managed to analyze about 5 applications. First one will be Eventbrite. There are a few of strengths and weaknesses, as well as the improvements that could be done as well. Right? The first one will be that Eventbrite has a clear and concise layout. It has a clean interface, and besides that, it does have relevant information displayed in the main page as well. And other related events or even interests can be found by users and up to their preferences. And besides that, their ticketing system is quite well. And one of the weaknesses for this Eventbrite app is that the interface does have a repetitive visual, which keeps on repeating on some of the layouts, which might be a bit boring. And this app does lack of animations, which might not elevate the app as much as possible. And next one will be Pitix. Pitix is also an event app, which for its strength, it does have clear information, it does have a lot of information, but the weaknesses is that it is a busy interface with a lot of details, too many informations in it, and that's why it's bad visual hierarchy, which the app does have text that is not arranged well, and the text are just looks too similar. They have the same font size, the arrangement is very messy, and besides that, the interface spacing, the spacing on the left and right margins are quite little, which makes the interface overwhelming. Moving on is the Dice app, which is one of my favorite app from among all these 5 apps. This is also an event app, which does have a clear and neat interface, which is very clean and very minimalist and modern. Besides that, the app does have clear details, which does have relevant information for the users to look up at, and the visual hierarchy is very nice and is very good. Besides that, the weaknesses for the Dice app is that it has crowded search page, which is quite compact, which can be improved. Now moving on to Fever, which is also an event app. The strength for this app is that it does have customization of tickets, which allow the users to purchase the amount of the tickets that they wanted. And besides that, it does have clear details on relevant information for the users. And the weaknesses is that crowded informations and inconsistent dark themes, which the first page is dark theme, but the other page are just light theme. And inconsistent spacing as well, which would cause information overload. Moving on to the event theme. So it does have strengths, which categorize of its event into multiple for kids, for adults, for fun, something like that. It does have a clear interface and clean interface as well. For its weaknesses, it does lack a visual hierarchy, which it does not have the right contrast and the right text size as well, which makes the interface look too flat. And besides that, the grouping of related informations, it does not chunk the information into specific categories, which makes information to be harder to skim by the user. With the analysis being done, here are the summarize of the analysis, which the strengths to take note of is to have a clean and concise layout and to have a good ticketing system and customization to allow the users to make customizations based on their preferences and categorization as well to be easier for the users to look up for informations. As for the weaknesses, we'll be add more animations to it to elevate the interface and as well as to have a good visual hierarchy in order to sort out the information to convenient the users. Besides this is to take note of is to have consistent themes, spacing, as well as separations of information. This is very important to make sure that the users are able to comprehend on what the app is presenting and displaying. Moving on to the um, moving on to the event app that I was talking about. So previously, I have a few ideas that I have in mind. The first one was to make a transport or metro app, which to show the overall metro lines and public transportations. This is for local and also tourists as well. But I also have another idea, which is to have an event app. This is what I'm presenting right now. For the design and styles, I did have some breakdowns of the design that I and references that I have in mind, and it does spark some inspirations for me towards this application design. And there are a few things that I have noticed in making this app is that UI cards and boxes are important to highlight the informations of the app into groups, and besides that, it is important to have further information so that it could be shown in the event app. And usage of colors to segment the layouts and the contents are also important to create visual hierarchies and to have an adequate amount of white space to avoid any content overload. So based on the references that I have searched on. These are the references as well as the mood board that I have. Alright. So the mood board has shown me on what I can do in my application design, and I would like to go with the playful minimalism style, which is quite playful and as well as minimalist as well. I try to balance out the seriousness and the playfulness of the app in order to not make it too unofficial, but make it to be established, but not too serious. In short, for my design direction is to have a playful minimalism, modern, minimal and clean interface, and some selection of color palettes with pop colors as well. And integration of UI cards and layout and boxes will be integrated into the app. And balanced visual hierarchy is very important for that. And I'll be also using sans serif for this application. For my SWOT analysis on my design direction is that the strength is the playful minimalism, which is able to provide a fun and clean interface for the user. Besides that, the UI and cards, layouts, and boxes also could chunk the informations in the interface to different categories in order to let the users skim easily through the interface. And besides that, balanced visual hierarchy is very important to convey information to the users easier. And sans serif fonts does provide the modern and clean look in the interface. For the weaknesses is that the playful minimalism might be too playful and might not be too suited for some classy or high-end interface. UI cards and layouts might be having some repetitive designs, which I need to take note of to have variation sizes of the cards. And besides that, the limited information density, which is minimalism does emphasize on minimal contents in it, which is why I need to organize the information architecture in order to make sure that there's no information overload. And there are some opportunities that I can take note of is to have some customization, which is to allow users to personalize on their preferences. And besides that, to have some animations, be it macro or micro, to take note on it because it does elevate the app. And the threats for my applications is that there are a lot of competitions out there with great designs. There are also complicated ticketing system, which is very bad for the app. So I need to take note on it in order to create a system that is convenient for the users. And as for design trends, because there are some trends that are not timeless, which I need to take note on it because trends tends to come and go. So I need to have a design that is timeless in order to not hinder the progress of the app and could make further improvements on it. Now this is the framework that I have. It does act as a guideline for me to know on my direction of my application. Right, so this is the general flow of the application, which is to launch the app and have login, the users to sign up as well as logging in. After logging in, users will be directed to the home page, which they could choose on the events that they would like to go. And later on, they could look up on the details, which is able to display the map, and even they could even favorite the event. If they would like to get the tickets, they need to go to the ticket purchasing page, which they could select on the ticket amount and proceed to the billing page, which they'll need to fill up their personal context and information as well as their payment methods. After confirming their payment, there will be a prompt, an interface showing that the payment is confirmed, and the users could choose on whether to check on their purchase ticket. If yes, they'll be redirected towards the ticket page, which is able to let them know how many tickets that they have, the QR codes, and if they would like to refund the ticket, they can do so as well. As for the user page, it could be accessed from the homepage, which they could have settings, check on their user information, as well as changing their location as well. And users can choose to log out this application and go back to the launch page. Alright, and do note that in homepage, the users can also customize on their locations to choose which region they are in, for example, Malaysia. Right. Moving on is that I did have some sketches for my application, and I did about 10 pages of sketches. And moving on to the current interface design that I have right now. So these are the design that I currently have. 4 pages, which is the login page, the login confirmation page, and as well as the home page and the event details page. So I did have some self-evaluations on this, which is that the login page is simple, but I tried to tweak with the colors to have a playful but minimalism style. And according to the Cloud AI evaluation, it does mention that this app has a clean and minimal design and contrasting colors which create visual hierarchies and placeholders that could provide guidance on what information that is required. And there are some improvements that could be done, which is to add on to forget password and also to implement the validation to prevent users from submitting any incomplete data, and allow users to toggle password visibilities so that they can look at any passwords that they have key interest in. My argument is that I will agree on the password visibility, which is able to confident the users after they tap on their passwords. And besides that, the forget password should be added in order to allow the users to reset their passwords. Next is the login confirmation page. So this page is self-explanatory. It does provide the login confirmation to the users in order to let them know that they have succeeded in logging in the page. The strengths and the weaknesses that the AI has evaluated is that it does have a clean and concise interface, recognizable check marks which is able to reinforce positive message, and as well as informative messages to know that the users know that they have logged in. Potential improvements could be that having loading indicators and progress bars, and as well as to provide a skip to redirection, and as well to have a personalized message for the users. For my argument is that they won't be needing any loading or indicators because I could show the countdown of the numbers, for example, few seconds left, 1, 2, 3, or like that. Then they will be redirected to it. And besides that, the redirection could also be lead the users to the homepage after that, so they'll see the necessary to put in loading indicators. And besides that is to have a good idea to have personalized message such as welcome back, something like that, to make the users feel special. Now this is the homepage that I have. My vision is to solve based on the comparison from the previous app that I've analyzed. The problems that I've solved is that solve the overwhelming interface issues which occurred in the PTX app. For the self-evaluation, I find that the homepage is quite informative, which I will need to arrange the informations in this page to not cause any information overload. For the AI evaluation, the strength is that it does have an easy navigation for the users to look for any informations and upcoming events to have a clear display and a date and location. Potential improvements is that this page could utilize more empty space, and as well as to have filtering and search options for the users. And for my argument is that filtering can be done in the search page because the homepage is quite overwhelming already. So it could be moved to the search page. Not to mention is that the filter on top of the homepage is that has a filter for the location. And the calendar view, which the AI suggested, consumes a lot of space, which is not suited for this homepage. For the event details, I have also managed to solve a few problems that occurred in the Fever app as well as the PTX app. I did chunk the information together to avoid any information overload, and as well as to have side margins that is enough for the interface to not feel too packed. For my self-evaluation is that this page requires more improvements, of course, which does require a lot of attention on it. I need to tweak on the color for the interface and to refine the designs of it to have a harmony interface. For the AI evaluation is that there is some color separation that is good and consistent color and typography, and as well as the book now button is very catching the attention of the users. And potential improvements for this app is that I could provide more detailed event information such as locations, durations, or performance, and considering to add more image or visuals, which I would later on. Include any social sharing options which allow users to share information of the event. For the evaluation of the argument of this AI evaluation is that I do agree on adding more informations and details in the page to show more details for the users to evaluate on the event. And besides that, I do agree on the sharing options because it does able to allow users to share this event for the other users. And yeah. Alright, that's the end of the presentation. Thank you for listening. I hope to have further improvements for this application, which will be done in task 2. And yeah, thank you for listening. Have a nice week ahead.